3 minutes late. Well, where did I lose? Okay, now let's leave it this way. So if we have interrupts, if you have questions from the Zoom, we can see them. And plans for today. There is various things to show you more about complexity and big O and stuff, but I thought so. Even though they are cool and I'll get back to them probably after this topic, I thought let's start to show you that algorithms can be fun, entertaining, nice, and so let's start from one of the real cool algorithm out there, the algorithm of Gale and Shapley, that is algorithm for the stable marriage problem. Algorithm for finding a stable matching or stable marriage problem. I will use both words interchangeably, both matching and marriage. It's the same way, and let's see what is the problem that we are going to solve. Curiosity, have anybody seen this algorithm before? The Gale-Shapley?
I saw the video that you posted.
Yeah, okay. So yes, we are much more. So essentially, if we think about Nash equilibrium and think about fairness and think about guarantees of stabilities, and I'm really not trying to pretend that I know about economy any more than bare minimum. Gale and Shapley has a significant contribution about. Let's get into Nash equilibrium that each one of us have something to change if things are changing, at least if things are changing not dramatically, then maybe we are not all in optimal state, but at least each one of us have something to lose if we are changing just a small amount. I'm sure that it was a very coherent sentence. And they got the Nobel Prize for it. That is later, Shapley gets the Nobel Prize for it. And but the algorithm and many real-world problems are phrased and solved as a stable matching problem, variant of stable matching problem. There is a lot of variants. There is a book that I forgot to bring from my office that suggests various versions and various algorithms exactly for such problems. Let's start to ask. I can mention a little contribution that I had with a bunch of other courses where we talked about geometric setting. I like, my background is computational geometry, and I like algorithms that involved optimizations and geometric objects, which means that me personally, I know very little, but on a lot of domains, and I was working on a lot of domains. So Amir and me in the last year wrote about how to set boundaries for quarantine and region to minimize traffic with respect to COVID, including the COVID simulators that Amir built, and we try to optimize spreads of disease. under geometric slash traffic slash geotransportation constraints. This is a much older paper of mine where we talked about, well, the geometric stable roommate problems. Not a great paper, just my very small comment about it. Very important disclaimer. I worked on these slides, or checked these slides with my partner. She is professor to sociology, and she also social science, and she approved that the slides are fine, as long we are saying that the role of males and female heroes are completely symmetric, but are completely interchangeable. But however, they are not symmetric in the algorithm. What am I trying to tell you? That you have to, the algorithm is between two sets, two genders, and each set reacts differently. Okay, so one is for absolutely traditional reasons, because I want to refer to the traditional dating algorithm for the 50s. So traditionally in the textbook, you'll guess which group is with. However, it's completely interchangeable, and actually it's important algorithmically for us when that are interchangeable, because you can prove various things. And another apology here is that I assume that matchings are between males and females. I'm not going to. Yes, many other variants have addressed in the algorithm constraints. Please don't drag me to get myself fired by saying the wrong things. This algorithm that we are going to discuss is commonly used for assigning students to high schools or interns. That's probably the most famous usage. You have interns that finish med school and want to get internship in hospitals. So hospitals ranks candidates ranking hospitals, and we want to align them somehow in a way that everybody is not very upset. It's not necessarily that everybody gets his or her first choice, but at least they are not too upset. Or we'll see what guarantees can we give about the happiness that they're getting. So first, let's describe what is the input of the algorithm. So the input of the algorithm consists of 2n lists, 2n list. N is the number of males, n is the number of females. I need a list of length n from each participant. I need a list of length n to each participant, and this list is just ranking of the opposite gender. Let's see how it works. Female number 1 said, I really want to marry male number 3. He's in the top of my list. What happens if male 3 does not want to marry me? Then my second top choice is male number 5. If he does not, my second one will be number 2, after that 1, and finally I want to marry 4 if none of them are available. But the input must be from each participant a full ranking of each and every person of the opposite gender. So that's what female 1 said, that's what female 3 said. Male 2 said, I really want to marry female 1. If she's not available, I want to marry female 2, and so on. So that's the input of our algorithm. Each person provides a full ranking of everybody in the opposite gender. He or she, the person cannot say, these two are equivalent in my list, they have to be a full order between them. And you cannot skip anybody, at least not in the version of the algorithm that I'm just giving you. Okay, so that will be the input, and there are absolutely no rules about how should I give the ranking. It's possible that all females or all males have exactly the same list. It's absolutely legit. It's possible that all of them has a first person, pick your highlight person to marry. Each of there is a consensus between them about who is the top choice. Possibly, possibly not, I don't care. Okay, no rules about how do we set this matching. How do we set the input? Anyhow, that would be the input. I already mentioned this book, just more details.
Does there have to be the same number of guys and same number of girls?
Right now, yes. In the midterm, there will be variants, like what happened if not. But in the midterm, there might be variants like what happened if not. But at the moment, yes. Okay, let me define what is a matching here, because this term is really confusing. The terms matching, because the reason it's confusing is that it's not clear if when I'm talking about a matching, I'm talking about a specific pair, or I'm talking about a global matching of each person to some other person from the opposite gender. So here is a formal definition of a matching. Matching means pairing, setting into pairs of all the people. This is one such matching, one such pair. For every male, I specified a unique female. For every female, I specified a unique male. And it's one-to-one. No male married to two females, no female married to two males. Matching, meaning list of everybody in the who marries who. What are the pairs? Geometrically, we can think about it as, or graphically. So graphically, I can think about it as here is the list of females, calling them female 1, female 2, female 3, male 1, male 2, male 3, and a matching might be match male 1 with female 3, match female 2 with male 3, and match male 2 and male 2 with female 1. Okay, that would be a matching. One-to-one and everybody is matched. And sometimes I'll call it pairing, sometimes I'll call it matching. I mean the same thing. And once again, the notation here is confusing. M1 meaning male number 1. F7 female number 7. That's her, his name. Okay. And once again, when I'm talking about a matching, that's not for a specific pair, it's for the whole population, the whole input group. Okay, I want to speak more about the definition of the preference list. My algorithm needs as input set of 2n preference list from each person, and here happens to be the preference list of female I, and she will say my top choice. Here I draw it vertically so it's clear what the order, what's the top. My top choice is male 5. If he is not available, then my second top choice is male 19, all the way up to my bottom choice, which is male 33. Okay. Now we can speak about what happened if I gave you some matching. I give you some matching. Something that you see like over here. See some matching. And here I want to see with respect to this matching and with respect to the preference lists. Given the preference list of everybody, and given the concrete matching that I have in mind, either a rogue couple or not. I cannot ask this question when I just look at the input. I need to see the matching, and I need to see the preference list to know if there is a rogue couple or not. So what is a rogue couple? So first time I saw it, I went to the dictionary. The dictionary said that rogue is uncontrolled, especially with respect to elephants that are going through period life, that they are becoming violent and uncontrolled. So that's rogue couple. So given such a matching, I can ask either any rogue couple in this matching. Matching list of edges that each person is married to one person in the opposite. What makes a couple rogue? So a rogue couple is a couple, female and male, who are not married to each other. That's a necessary and not sufficient condition. Looking at my graph over here, if you think that F3 is married to M1, then F3 and M1 cannot form a rogue couple. If they are already married to each other, they cannot form a rogue couple. That's a necessary condition, but sufficient. That is, when I check about the rogue couples, I'll ask is F1 and M1, who are not married to each other, do they form a rogue couple? Is F1 and M3 form a rogue couple, not married to each other? Because so they are not married to each other, but they prefer each other over their spouses. They prefer each other over these spouses. Let's see what's happening here. Let's assume that in a matching, you don't see all the people, and I, of course, had to refer to movies to find names that will not coincide with the name of people you know, because they are not very positive. So it's all let you figure out the references from which people are coming. Sorry?
Allegra, first one?
Yes.
Allegra.
And of course, our beloved, how can you not like? Okay. So let's think about Zod. And Zod is married to Aventia. Each person appears in each person of the opposite gender list. So Zod, if we look at Zod's list, his first choice is Allegra, then Beatrix, etc. However, Zod is married. Well, I decided about some marriage, and I want to ask either a rogue couple is marriage, is pairing or not. I decided, for whichever reason, that Zod is married to Avanora, who is number 6 of his list. Not his top choice, not his second choice, top choice. It's his 6th choice. Meaning that Zod would have preferred to marry either Allegra or Beatrix or Aradia or everybody that is above Avanora. Makes sense. That's what the list implies. However, he's married to number 6, Avanora. Let's look at Arcadia. Remember, they are not married to each other. Let's look at Arcadia. Arcadia is married to Syndrome, who is taken from, by the way?
The Incredibles.
One of my favorites. She is married to Syndrome, but she would prefer Mr. Bound or Zod or Hannibal and so on. Including, and now look at this term. She would prefer Zod over her husband. We are not having any loyalties issues here. No. She would prefer, Arcadia would prefer Zod over Syndrome. Zod on his list prefer Arcadia over his wife, and then they meet each other and they realize that they have some mutual interest, there is some instability. Both of them will upgrade if they dump their mate and marry each other. Both of them will earn if Arcadia will divorce Syndrome and instead marry Zod. And at the very same time, Zod will upgrade, quotes, if he'll divorce his current wife, Avanoa, and instead marry Ravenna. So if we find such a pair of people who are both not married to each other, but both will earn from changing the situation and marry to each other, they are a rogue couple. They have mutual interest to make the situation unstable. Okay. A rogue couple would be a couple for which not married to each other, but they both will gain from dumping their mates and marry each other. Gain meaning marry somebody that is higher on their lists. Okay, that sounds very strange. Does it mean that the only way to get a stable marriage is to give everybody her or his first choice? No, it's not necessarily the case. It's probably not possible that each one will be there to give his first choice. Meaning that it's possible that Zod will have people above ranked higher than his wife. However, how can we hope for stability? That each one of the people that he prefers over his wife, she prefers her husband over him. That's all, and of course, symmetrically the other way around. Aradia might prefer somebody over Syndrome, but each one of the other people prefers his current wife over her. That's how we are getting to the stability. The stability will be by, it cannot be the two people will both upgrade by dumping their mates and marry each other. Instead, if one of them will upgrade, the other one will degrade by having such a switch. So there is no couple which is not married to each other that have the mutual interest to break the marriage just for change. Of course, we assume here that tastes don't change with time, the preference stays the same, and so on. Fair enough. So the stability that we are looking for is find a matching for which there is no rogue couple. Find any matching for which no rogue couple exists. There is about n pairs that are married to each other. As we said, a pair that is married to each other cannot be a rogue couple. There are about n squared minus n pairs not married to each other. None of them should be rogue. Of course, the definition of rogue depends on who is married to whom and what's the overall preferences. People, it's a key point. Everybody understand it? Everybody understand what is the definition of a rogue? I'll show you a pair. I'll show you their pair preference list. Tell you for this pair not married to each other. Whom are they married to? She, Arcadia, is married to Syndrome. Zod is married to Avanora. Show me where each other appeared on the list. They are becoming rogue couple only if she is higher than his current wife and he, Zod, is higher than her current husband. That's what will make them rogue. Okay, and that opens a set of questions. It first says, what we're looking for is a stable marriage, that at the moment I'm not trying to optimize happiness. I'm not saying that everybody will get somebody that is very close to the top, to his, her top choice. That's not what I'm saying. There are variants of our algorithms that tries to push for it. And and the answer is yes and no about how we actually gain maximizing this happiness. However, at the moment, all I want is to say, no matter what the input of the people, I'll decide, the algorithm will decide who married whom, such that the matching will be stable. Okay. It will be stable in the very clean mathematical way. This matching that we'll get must not have any rogue couple. Yeah.
Can you guarantee there's always going to be a stable matching?
That's a beauty. The answer is yes. No matter what the list, we will see that there is always such a stable matching.
Can there be potentially more than one stable matching?
Yes. Two excellent questions. Yes, there could be more than one stable matching. Could be actually a lot of. And yes, I will guarantee that there is always at least one. And it's a simple and constructive proof. I'll just show you an algorithm, and you'll see that the algorithm will yield a stable matching.
Is there any way to see if one matching would be better, one stable matching would be better than the other stable matching?
Better in what sense?
Well, like we saw over here, like the rankings would be. You said
If it's globally, if each person gets somebody higher on this person list, then it's clear which one is better. But what if we will see some screaming issues with this algorithm as is, but my difficulty in defining better is what happens if some people are getting higher on the list and other people are going down. Which one of the two matching is better, that's now. But yeah, definitely people looked at maximizing other criteria. Okay, so we are going to analyze various mathematical properties of the algorithm, and this algorithm is looking a bit like the 1950s dating. No moral judgment about was it a good social phenomena or not, it's my opinion, but we will present the algorithm. We will not judge its moral in real life. So before I show you the algorithm, I will have to actually answer your question about either such. How can I guarantee that I'll end up with, indeed, with a matching that is stable? It's not obvious at all. So we will show every set of preference lists, input to the algorithm, each person rank each and every person on the opposite. No matter how did you decide about these lists of preferences, this n-square list, there will always be at least one stable matching. And we will show it by just presenting the algorithm. Okay. Terminology. We can say that a male proposes to a female if proposes marriage to the female by coming and asking for her hand. And it will be the males that are making the proposals in this version of the algorithm. this version of the algorithm, the males will make the proposal. The females will stand on their balcony, let's see in a second why, and maybe will give some positive feedback, maybe not. Let's see exactly what are the possible reactions. So one of the males might propose marriage to one of the females. During most of the algorithm, this female has only one of two options. The two options that she has is either to reject the proposal and to tell him, I will never marry you. Don't bother coming back again because I will never marry you. It's rejection, it's the ultimate possible rejection that you can ever see. Right. You're out of my league, don't even try. Okay? That's one possible reaction. The other possible reaction is not to say yes. She is not allowed to say yes. Not allowed. The habit is, doesn't sound good. During this algorithm in the matching period, she cannot say yes. She can say maybe. Let me think about my options. Come back tomorrow and repeat this proposal. Come back tomorrow and repeat this proposal. So once again, she can either reject him or she can put this male on a string. Tell him, maybe, come back tomorrow, let's see that. Okay. Maybe putting him on a string or absolutely not. And once a male is rejected, what he will do algorithmically is crosses off from his preference list. He will cross off the females that just rejected him because there is no point of rejecting to her again. This rejection is absolutely, is forever. He will never reject to her again. And another rule, once a male proposes, and if he's on a maybe, he must come back the next day. He cannot change his mind the next day. Once you made the proposal, it's a full commitment.
So for the female to reject somebody, is it necessary that?
So in a typical day of the algorithm, there will be for a female that stands on her balcony. There will be several males that come through the afternoon. They are all singing to her and making proposals. And she picks one of them and puts this one on a string, telling him, come back tomorrow. Everybody else from the worshipping males, the answer is absolutely not. You're rejected. Don't bother coming again. And you can guess which of the males she will give the maybe to. It will be the male who is the highest on her list. Out of all the males that are making the proposal, she will pick the one that is high on her list and says, come back tomorrow. You're on a maybe. But you already, I think, start to feel why this algorithm is so unjust, in the sense that she can interact, or she can reject or accept, only among the males that made an offer to her. That's the only action. She cannot, under this algorithm, she cannot make proposals on her own. She cannot initiate contacts with males that did not contact her. So it's you still don't see why it's so terrible, but it's terrible. Okay, let's see the algorithm. repeat during each day of the matching period. We have something that happens during the matching period, and after a while, to be precise, after n squared many days, we will be in a situation, it will need a proof, that every male is on a string, and at this point, after the matching period, each female marries the male that she's holding on a string. That will happen at the end. Now, let's go over what happens during the matching period. So, repeat at each day. At the morning, each male looks at his own list. Each male looks at his own list, asks, who is the highest on my list that did not reject me yet? Who do I want the most that did not reject me yet? So, and each male proposes to the best female, the highest on his list. Remember, there is no not uniformity of ranking here. Each person can rank in very different, very individual way. But each male proposes to the best female, the one that he likes the most, to the highest on his list, which he did not cross out, did not reject him yet. So here is a list of John, one of the people. His top choice is female 17. His second top choice is female 3, then female 19, female 4, and so on and so forth. So at the morning, each male proposes to the best female. He is not yet crossed. At the morning, John proposes to female 17. What happened in the afternoon? At the afternoon, each female which has at least one proposal. And it already starts to be annoying because some of female might have none, but so talking about injustice. But some female might have none, but each female which has at least one proposal, what she said is to the best offer, the best in her eyes. If Mary over here got a list from M3 and got a list from John, she got a list from M3 and from John, these are the only two males that proposed to her at this day. She said, in my ranking, M3 is higher than John. Among the ones that proposed to me today, M3 is higher than John. So what does Mary do? She says to today's best offer, maybe come back tomorrow. M3, come back tomorrow. And John is definitely not. Don't try again. At the evening, any male that just got rejected, that is not on a maybe, remember nobody gets married yet. It's just a maybe or a no. At the evening, any male that was rejected crosses out the rejecting female from his list. So John just got a no from female, from a female, I didn't say it, female 17 is Mary. He just got a no from Mary, so he will not offer to Mary again, meaning that who is at the top of his list right now it would be female 3. And so on. And we start again in the next day. Start again in the next day, start again in the next day, and so on and so forth. So now when you have this algorithm, let's people, you people in Zoom, let's assume that so let's think about such a scenario. I just showed you only small part of the list, only the males and only the first top of all the males, but I picked a very easy case. So people in Zoom, let's run this algorithm for this input, despite all the missing data. What happened on the first day? What happened in the first day?
M1 would propose to
M1 proposes to F3,
M2 to
M2 proposes to F4, M3 to F2, M4 to F1, because they are the top on their lists. And remember, once they made the proposals, they have to, they are continuous proposals, they cannot change their mind. So get the afternoon, and M3 is saying, I got how many proposals? 1. So by, obviously, he is the best proposal that I got today. It's the only proposal, he's the best proposal that I got today. So I'll tell M3 tells F2, maybe. Sorry. F2 tells M3, maybe tomorrow. Okay, and so does each one of the other things. They are in the same scenario. Why? Because I picked the input in a way that no two males have the first choice. Let's continue with the algorithm. What's the stopping condition? Each male is on a string. Each male is on a string right now, so we stop the algorithm, and each female just married the males that she just. Now, obviously, if we there was a question, can we get different matchings that are stables? And answer, for example, is yes, obviously, because had we switched the rules of males and females here, everything in the algorithm would stay exactly the same. The results might be different, but everything about correctness and stability will still be the same. But here I noticed that I only looked at the preferences of the males only. But the order was determined only by them. Switching the rules, of course, it will be completely symmetric when the females are the ones that are making the proposals and the men are the maybe or no. Zoom, any questions? Okay, Everybody understands this, the algorithm? Everybody understands the stopping condition? Still, I didn't say that the stopping condition must happen, but at least the stopping condition would be when every male is a maybe by somebody.
Oh, can the female change her mind?
No.
Okay.
Okay, here is a lemma. If a female is on has n male on the string, one male on the string, then she either marry him or marry somebody that she prefers over him. So by the way, this algorithm looks like devastated emotionally for the males and fantastic for the females, especially in light of this lemma. Because if you think about the situation of the females, they are getting better and better males, always upgrading, while the males need to keep with a sequence of rejection and going down their list. So keep to this impression for a moment, because there is much more than it. So we want to say that if one of the females got a male, has one proposal, then she has at least one male on the list right now. How come she rejects then when this period, when the dating period stops? Either she will marry him, or maybe either she will marry this guy B, or she will marry some other guy B prime, which means, how could it happen? Because B cannot change his mind. If she marries B prime, it's because at some day B kept coming every day, but at some day B prime came and she preferred B prime over B, so at this point she rejected B. The only reason that she rejected B, because he's not allowed to change his mind, the only reason that she rejected B is because she got a better offer from somebody that she thinks on her list is higher than B on her list. So she gave a maybe to B prime, rejected B. Later on, maybe she got an offer from B double prime, and then she rejected B prime, and so on. There might be a sequence of up to n events where she keeps upgrading each time, giving a no, but for persons that she prefers. And at no point, it cannot be that she will not have a proposal. But once she had one proposal, she always has a proposal, and once she has one person on a string, she'll always have somebody on a string until the last day of the matching period. Make sense? And they are getting better and better in her list. So if a female has a male on a string, then she will either marry him or marry somebody she prefers over him. And in particular, each female will marry the very top male, disclaimer, the very top male among the ones that propose to her. Not globally, but only among the ones that propose to her. The order doesn't matter that much. Out of all the people that propose to her, she will marry the one that that is highest on her list. When I refer to TMA, that's the abbreviation, traditional marriage algorithm, the 50 marriage algorithm. You'll also see it in literature under the algorithm of Gale and Shapley, the authors that I showed originally. It's the same algorithm. Maybe it's an optimistic lemma, I don't know. It's a matter of personality, I guess. A lemma, no male can be rejected by all the females. Not in this algorithm. Why? Just because of counting argument. Right? Suppose there is the same number of males and the same number of females. So suppose that B is rejected a male B is rejected by all the females. What is a scenario at this point? Each female must have somebody that proposed to her, which is not B. Otherwise, she was not reject B. If she rejected B, that's because she has somebody else, and she has somebody else on a string. That's because of the previous lemma. So we have n female that have n each one has a proposal, n suitors all together. Of course, no male is being on a string by two females at the same time. It's obvious. A male is on a string or by at most one female. We got a maybe only to the last one that he offered and did not get no. So there are n females by contradiction. What am I trying to say? I want to convince you that it cannot be that a male B was rejected by all the females. Although I do it by contradiction, assume that yes, B was rejected by all the females. What is the scenario in this case, at the day that he got the last rejection? We have n females, each one has a different suitor, somebody on a string, she's maybe somebody else. And all these males that are on a maybe, they are all different. There are n males and females, so not including B itself. So we must have to this, for this to hold, there must be at least n plus 1 males. Contradiction to our assumption that there are the same number of males and females. So maybe it's optimistic, no male will be rejected by all the females. Claim after at most n square many days, the algorithm must stop. After at most n many days, the algorithm must stop. And this argument is a bit more settled than what might look. Why is this true? That there are no loops, no infinite loops. Why exactly? Where this number n squared came from? Let's look at the list. Let's look at the list of female 1 that has M3, M17, M2, I'm sorry. We start. Let's look at the list of M2. My fault. M2, she had F4, then F19, F7, and so on. M2 at one day, she made a proposal. Maybe he got a, maybe he got a maybe come back tomorrow, or maybe he got a no and then moved a pointer, his next top female, one element down. Now, there could be a lot of days that his M2 status did not change. That's fine. However, in every day, at each and every day, at least one of the males got a no. At every day, at least one male got a no because, let's go back, the algorithm stops when each male is on a string. The only case that before each male is on a string is that at every day, at least one of the males needs to cross one of the females out to move this pointer down. So how many no answer can we get? Small, it's at most even a bit less than n squared, n squared minus n. Right? Because let's look at the list. How long is the list of M2? There are n female over here. What is the list of male 1? The same list. Altogether, the length of all the total lengths of all the lists is n squared. There is a room for only n squared many no's, and once M2 crossed F4 from his list, he'll never propose to her again. There are no loops in the system. So every day, one of these pointers went down by one step. I'll ask you more in the homework how actually to get it in n squared. It's not entirely trivial. Okay, so after at most n squared days, the algorithm must stop. And the only case that the algorithm stops is that each female has a male on the list. Okay. So let's summarize. We have the traditional marriage algorithm, TMA algorithm. It produces a pairing, a matching, that is list of pairs for each female, one single unique male that she's holding on a string. These are the pairings. We can decide that they will all match each other, and the grade is a stable matching. How do I know that it's a stable matching? I'll leave you to meditate on it for 2 minutes. It's not clear. What I need from you is a proof that whatever the algorithm produces does not contain any rogue couple. That's the only criteria for stability, either a rogue couple or not. So you can chat with your neighbors.
But theoretically, everybody who's better than someone theoretically married to someone on their list is that they have the best higher actually currently on the
Okay. People. Yeah. How can you prove that it's stable?
So if we take a look at the males list, right? Say he chooses like the fourth one down.
Let's look at Mark's list and let's assume that Mark is married with F75.
That means that all the other women above have all rejected him, and thus that means like he
Very
can't
nice.
get married.
So if we think about F13 over here, he prefers her comparing to then his current wife. F13 he prefers less, so he cannot form a rogue couple. My question is, can Mark form a half of a rogue couple? So he cannot form a rogue couple with F13 because he likes her more than he likes his current wife. F77 is his wife. F13 is lower, so she's not a candidate. To be a rogue couple, it means that it will be Mark plus somebody else that will both prefers each other more than they prefer their current spouses. Can he form a rogue couple with F77? Easy question.
No,
Because
they're married.
they are married to each other, so married couple will never form a rogue couple. There is nothing unstable. So finish. Not with F77. Now let's think about F3. He definitely prefers F3 over F77. Yeah, you already nailed it. Let's hear from somebody else, because it was quite hard. Somebody else. Why Mark and F3 will not form a rogue couple?
Because if she rejected him, she would already have had her top.
What the algorithm says? The algorithm says Mark will start by making a proposal to F7, and he will stick with F7 as long as F7 did not reject him. The only reason that he'll move to F3 is because he was rejected, and once he was rejected, A, it was never come back, and B, it was, I prefer F7 has somebody on string that she prefers over Mark. Again, F7 has a husband that she prefers over Mark. Otherwise, she would not reject him. And of course, it's not obvious that she rejected him for her husband, but she rejected him for somebody that she prefers over Mark. And she's married to either this guy or to somebody that she prefers even more than the one that she rejected Mark for, which means that either way, she prefers her current husband over Mark. Maybe because she prefers A, that prefers B, that prefers over C, D, E, eventually. So Mark did propose to F7, got rejected, and crosses her out. So she has somebody, he would prefer F7 over his wife F77, but she prefers her husband over him. So that's the stability. Cute, no? That's it. Each female that to summarize, each female that he prefers that is higher on his list over his wife, she's married to somebody that she prefers over him, so she will downgrade by marrying him. Okay, and that's just the same spiel listed formally. Okay, so far it looks great. I'll correct this impression soon. So far it looks great. We have an algorithm. It runs in n squared time. It requires a few tweaks that I'll ask you in the data structure about how to arrange the data properly. But essentially, after n squared many days, the algorithm, at most n squared many iterations, the algorithm will stop and will tell you, hey, this is a pairing and this pairing is stable. And so it's actually a very useful algorithm. And I'll ask you in the few easy modifications like every hospital rank all the med students. All the med students rank the hospitals where do they want to be interned in. However, each hospital is married not to one intern but to 5 interns. Specifies that there is at most 5. How do I change the algorithm in this case? Obviously, if the number of change. It's not hard. And of course, the rule would be, to start with, that it will be stable, that there will not be a hospital and an intern that are not matched to each other, but prefer each other over the intern / hospital that they do have. It's kind of obvious. So, given the preference list, is a stable matching? Answer, sometimes yes, sometimes no. I just gave you an example 20 minutes ago, an example where you can generate more matches. Just switch the rules of the males and females, and if they all have different preference, you can, yeah. How can I generate an input with maximum number of rejection? The input that I showed you earlier was no 2 males had the same first choice, and in this case there were no rejections at all. Again, the input that I showed you before had no rejections at all. Now I will go to the other side. Give me an input that you're good. I'm getting to. It was nice that you nailed it. What's your name?
Anthony.
Anthony. Thanks for. So give me an input on Zoom or live for which the number of rejections is as large as possible as a function of n. Yes, sir.
You could just have duplicate lists.
If I have,
Duplicates.
if
So like
all
that.
the males, if I say all the males all have F7 as their first choice, and all of them had F3 as their second, all of them have F17 as the first, there is a consensus among the males, then what's going to happen? What's going to happen in the first day? All males are going to propose to the very same female, from which she will pick her top choice. Don't know who it is, but she'll pick one of them. And everybody else of them will be rejected. So n minus 1 will be rejected. Let's play with this a bit. How many rejections do I have in the first day? And here I have number of rejections. Is it seen with a, yeah, I have the number of rejections. So, yeah, I'll figure out how to, I had problems with adding more cameras today. Usually I covered everything, so it will be fixed in the future for future recordings. So, in the first day, the number of rejections would be all the males make a proposal to the same female, all but one got rejected. So in the first day, I will have n minus 1. If they all have consensus about the list, then in the second day, they all propose to say F3. All but one are rejected. So the number of rejections that I have in day 2 is n minus 2. All but one. Day 3, n minus 3, dot, 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 all the way until day n minus 1, I will have 1 rejection. And day n, I will have none. So the total number, let's revisit this summation. This plus this plus this plus this. Let's read it from the bottom to top. Read it from bottom to top is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus dot 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 plus n minus 1, which is our arithmetic sum. We saw it yesterday. but yesterday it ran all the way up to n. Now it won't. It's only going to n minus 1. That's why it's n minus 1 times n, if I'm not wrong, divided by 2, instead of n plus 1 divided by 2. Right? That's n plus 1 minus 1 divided by 2 times n. Minus 1 divided by 2. So that's the number. That will be at least lower bound on the number of rejection, also known as omega of n squared. Okay, here is an algorithm that I don't suggest to implement, but I'll need to define what is the optimal and pessimal matching. So here is a very slow algorithm to discover all the possible stable matching. I'll give you a matching, namely for every male, a unique female, and vice versa. These graphs that I showed you earlier. And I can now check for every pair not married to each other, are they stable or not? It takes about n cubed or so, it's not very fast. The number of matchings, how many matchings can I have? How many one-to-one matchings can I have between n male and n female? How many one-to-one matchings can I have between a set of n males and n females? Sorry? It's combinatorially, I'm listing the set of, in one matching, one goes with A, two goes with B, etc. Another matching, one with D, two with C, and so on. So a matching, once again, matching is a confusing term here. A single matching might look like a full pairing, one with C, three with D, two with A, and who's left? C, D, sorry? 4 and B. So this is one such matching. M, let's call it M1. And I can generate more and more matchings as I go. How many do I have? It's exactly n factorial. N factorial, which is n times n minus 1 times n minus 2 dot 1. It's kind of easy to prove, right? How many options one has? One can be either with A or with B or with C or with D. So there are n options for one. Now I need to choose the option for 2. 2 has n minus 1 options because one already picked one of them and so on. So it's n factorial. Many matchings that might be generated for each one. I'll run this n cubed time algorithm. It's very slow, but now I can define all the matchings that are stable. Maybe there is one, maybe there are many, I don't know. After I generate this long list of matchings, I can ask for a pair out of all the pairings, all the matchings, which are stable, which one gives me the most happiness? And hard to measure here what is the happiness and how over. It's always obvious that each person will get his or her first choice. Obviously not. It's enough that two people want they have the same first choice. In one-to-one system, it cannot be. So probably we cannot always decide that everybody is getting his or her first choice. So having the top choice is way too much to ask. So I'm going to suggest something a bit small. I can minimize or maximize something. There are lots of works, lots of publications about it. And I want to define what is the optimal female for Mark. I want to define what is the optimal female for Mark. She might be his first choice, maybe not necessarily. And we will say that Fj is the optimal, don't confuse with the top. She is the optimal female for Mark if, look at all the matchings that I generated. I generated M1, I generated M2, another matching. I generated M3, another matching. Sorry for the people in the camera, don't show anything critical. And out of them, I'm only looking at the ones, matchings, that are stable, that don't have a row couple. And in all of them, I'm looking at Mark, and Mark has, in all the matching, has one reference list. Here is Mark's list, and he's saying F17 is my top, F3 is second, F5, 9. Then you see that in some matching, he is married with F5. In some matching, he is married with F3. Let's say he never gets F17 because maybe somebody that she prefers more. Maybe he's competing with F17 with somebody that he will always lose. I don't know. Anyhow, out of all the females that in some matching he finds himself married to, who is the highest one on his list? In my case, if he's matching either with F3 or F5, F3 will be the highest that sometimes in some stable world, he might find himself married to. Not necessarily because of the traditional marriage algorithm. Maybe there was a different algorithm that produces this matching. However, this matching must be stable. F17 maybe is his top choice, but there is somebody that F17 prefers much more. So in every stable world, if Mark is married to F17, then F17 and this other guy form a row couple. So he'll never marry F17, but he will marry sometimes F3, sometimes he'll marry F5, sometimes somebody that he prefers less. So she is the best in his eyes, based on his list. Female he can ever get in a matching that he doesn't have a row couple, in a stable world. Okay. As far as we know, it might be the same ones that the TMA produce. It might be somebody that is lower than the ones the TMA produce. It might be somebody that is higher than what the TMA produced. It cannot be somebody that the TMA. Why can't it be somebody that is lower than what the TMA produced? Well, because the TMA produced stable matching. Right. So if the TMA would say you are married with F17 and the TMA produces stable matching, then the top choice will be F17 for Mark. That's his optimal wife. But presumably in the TMA he got some other female, some other stable matching, he got F3. F3 is his opt. Presumably better than the field is getting in the TMA. Okay. Maybe she's the highest on his list, maybe not. Theorem. The TMA algorithm yields a matching that each male gets the optimal female. There is no algorithm that will produce, there is no way, no matter what's running times that you want to invest, no matter what's a computational effort, it's not that there is one person that gets in the TMA the optimal female, his optimal female. Not necessarily the top, but the opt that realistically can hope for. TMA, each and every male gets the highest female that he can get in every stable world. So the TMA is completely male preferred. Right? The TMA produces a matching that is completely male optimal, as good for the male as I can get for each one of them, all in the same time. And we will prove this theorem. Now wait, why is this so unfair? Was so different about the rules of the males and the females here? We said every female can only upgrade and upgrade and upgrade among the males that propose to her, but only among the ones that propose to her. That's a big source of the asymmetry at this part. That there is. Okay, so next class we are going to prove this theorem about that the TMA produces a male optimal solution. That is, that I cannot have. I'm just giving you a promo. I cannot produce a different world which is stable at which Mark will do better than F3. Okay. In every stable world, Mark will not do better than F3, and things are actually going to get even worse. I don't know if it starts to be a bit formal. We can decide if we want to go to this theorem or not. Now, when we have the optimal female, let's see even that things are getting even more annoying. That I went through all the possible matchings, and for every male I listed what is the highest rank on his list that he's ever being married to. And that was the optimal female for him, for Mark. Now, I can also go run through all the matchings, find for every female what is her optimal male in exactly the same way. I can also find for every female what is the lowest male that she will ever get under any stable matching. What is the worst one? Not necessarily the bottom of her list, because it still needs to be stable, no couples, but the lowest out of all the ones that she finds herself in every stable matching. And the TMA has the property that not only that every male got the optimal male, but every female got the pessimal male that she can do. That is, that there is no way to generate any stable matching at which a female will get a worse male than what the TMA will give for her. So despite all this big show of males are only getting depressed from getting rejection, etc., it is completely unfair. And again, it's because of, so yeah, for romantic matching, it's not recommended algorithms. Okay, so we'll play with this a bit next class. We'll see how much you want to get into the formality of the proof, or start with skip list, a few other things in complexities that I want to show you, something about merge. There is a way that I want to show you about merge sort that is also a good example of revisiting merge sort, and also a cute and very general way to analyze the running time. That is probably different than what you've seen. also due next Monday. You'll have your first homework sometimes early next week, and roughly 8 days. People that knows me, I'm not very strict about submission dates, and I'm pretty easy about playing a bit with the dates, and most constraint about dates is to be able to publish it and to get results if there are things that I want you to know from for the midterm that will play a bit with the dates, but otherwise I'm not very strict. There is just these many questions that I can recycle. As you know, I mean, coming up with good questions is hard. Some questions are recycled. Yes, subscription for check.com was $25 that I can afford. A few other sites that I was not playing with it. So my way of anti-cheating is mostly to play with asking very similar questions in the midterm and assuming that if you solve the question yourself, then you also know the solution to similar questions, and if you got a solution from elsewhere, then you fall to traps that I'll try to generate out of fairness for the students that do solve independently. What else? A time to remind everybody the final formula for the grades, not to. I had surprises last semester. Please note that you have to get some minimal grade in the final exam to get a good grade in the course. You have the formula in the Google Doc. Said about 6 or 7 homeworks. Right now I published it as 7 homeworks. I hope that we'll have time for it, but I also want to be aligned with topics. So it might be at the end 6, at least 6, at most 7. From which one you don't need to submit. I think that's it as far as formality-wise. Okay, see you Monday.